What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dr. Movie, where I watch movies so you don't have to. Or we watch movies so you don't have to. It's something like that. Dan Bone sent me that one, which is a great one, no doubt. Boy, have we got an excellent one for you today. I'll just go ahead and tell you, I love this movie. Haven't seen it in quite a while. We're talking about 2010's Tucker and Dale versus Evil. And what a blast this movie is. You forget how good it is till you go back and watch it again. So much fun. IMDb gives this a 7.5 out of 10. I think technically it's better than that, but it is a horror movie, so they're not going to give it a whole lot of credit, right? Man, so much to talk about on this one. Let's do a quick overview of our cast. Tyler Labine. Again, I can't go through and tell you everything everybody's been in. I mean, I could, but the whole show would be nothing but, and he's in this one, and he's in that one, because there's like, everybody in this movie's in a bunch of other stuff, right? But the big heavies is you got Tyler, and you got Alan Tudyk, who I absolutely love. Everything he's in. Big Firefly fan, big Dodgeball fan, big Resident Alien fan. If you're not watching Resident Alien on Sci-Fi, if you like Alan Tudyk, it's perfect. I say Tudyk. Don't put turd in his name. Alec Tudyk, right? I just love this guy. He seems like a guy that I would just hang out with. But you need to be watching Resident Alien. It's a lot of fun. This is directed by Eli Craig, who's also in the movie. And again, there's a whole list here. Katrina Bowden, you got Sheldon Simmons, Jesse Moss. I mean, there's a lot of people in this movie. And we don't want to talk about all that. Let's talk about the movie itself, right? So let's find us a synopsis here and talk about Tucker and Dale. It says two scruffy pals, which would be Tucker and Dale. Backwoods vacation takes a bloody turn when ignorant college students mistake them for a pair of murderous hillbillies. Yeah, man, the setup for this one is fantastic, man. And I'll tell you why. I guess because I kind of live in Tucker and Dale's world, right? Like the scene opens up, the movie starts off with a bunch of college kids, right? Modern day college kids, and they stop at it's like a little mom and pop gas station out in the middle of nowhere, kind of like the one in Texas Chainsaw, the original, right? So yeah, it's this little rundown thing where they've got, stuffed moose head and stuff hanging on the wall, and they think it's all creepy, and I'm like, no, this is legit. This is how stores looked, when I was growing up. This is what you walked into. In 2010, yeah, it's probably, a little creepy, but back in the day, this is just what a store looked like, where it felt like you could fall through the floor because it was so old. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. So, and that's where they run into Tucker and Dale, who are, getting supplies because they're going out to a house that I think Tucker has kind of purchased, or they purchased together to be like a vacation home, but it's basically out in the middle of nowhere. It's a cabin in the woods type scenario, and they're just gonna go live the good life, drink a bunch of Pabst Blue Ribbon, and go fishing. Right? That's the whole plan. And you can't help but love these guys. I mean, because they are everyday people, and Dale is this big, soft-hearted, he's just a softie, right? He looks like a big, redneck bear or whatever. I mean, he's a big kind of guy, can be intimidating looking, but he's just a complete sweetheart, right? So, he kind of eyeballs one of the good-looking girls, the college kids that, that's at the gas station, and they're obviously afraid of them, and he's like, man, I just don't know what to do. He said, a girl like that would never go for a person like me, and Tucker's like, man, just go talk to her, right? Whatever you do, go talk to them. You know they're here. They're going out, going out camping because we see the supplies. Just go up to them, but whatever you do, always just smile and laugh at the end of it, and that'll break the ice. Well, he walks up to them. They're all loading up their stuff, and he's holding a sickle, like the Grim Reaper. And he goes, "You're going camping, huh?" And he just starts laughing. And it freaks them out, and they take off, right? And he's like, "Oh, man, I did it wrong." And that's kind of what you're in for this whole movie. The college kids think that Tucker and Dale are murderers, because the leader of this group tells them the story about this happening, like a campfire tale, right, of what happened 20 years ago in this very spot. This crazy hillbilly came in and killed all these people, and the bodies are still buried there, and they never caught the guy. He's freaking them out. And all the kids that night decide they want to go skinny dipping. So they got one girl that's kind of being harassed by the leader of this group. He's trying to make his move on her, and she's not interested in him. And so the rest of them have all gone skinny dipping. She gets away from him and goes to another part of the pond or lake or whatever this thing is, and she starts stripping off, and she's up on a rock, and Tucker and Dale are out fishing, and they can see all of them, and she gets up on the rock, and they're like, "Whoa!" And they make a noise, and then the girl that's by herself gets shocked because they're standing there, and she slips and falls and hits her head and falls off in the water. Well, Tucker and Dale take their boat and they row over there and try to get her out of the water, and they're like picking her up and putting her body in the boat, and the rest of the kids see them, and they're going, "Hey, we got your friend," and they take it as, "We've just killed your friend," right? And that kind of sets up everything else that happens in this movie. And what's funny is, through the whole thing, these kids feel like they are, defending themselves, right? It's fight or flight. And every time they go to, try to harm one of them, Tucker or Dale, they end up, killing themselves. Tucker's out one day and he's grounding up these, pieces of stump, like an old tree fell down. He's got a stump grinder out there, or a chipper is what it is. And he's tossing the pieces there, and one of the kids sneaks up behind him and is going to jump on him. Well, he ducks, and the guy just goes head first into the wood chipper. And, so, Tucker's trying to tell, "I don't know what happened, man. These kids they're on a suicide pact. They're just trying to kill themselves." He just jumped right in, head first into the wood chipper. So everything is accidental. Again, this movie is so much fun. And I'm not going to give a lot away because, I like for you guys to go check this out. But you can't go wrong with this one. It's got some pretty gory stuff in it, some pretty good effects. The college kids have good intentions, but it always ends up with another one getting killed. There's one scene where Tucker's out working, and he's chopping up the logs. He's got the chainsaw, and he hits a hornet's nest. Well, the hornets come out, and they're all over him. And another one of the kids is sneaking up on the property. And all of a sudden, he sees Tucker coming around the edge of the house, slinging the chainsaw. And what he's doing, he's trying to fight off the hornets, but it looks like, Texas Chainsaw out here, swinging it around. So the kid takes off running, and of course, Tucker's running as well because he's trying to get away from the hornets. And the kid thinks that he's chasing him, and he just doesn't watch what he's doing and gets impaled on this, limb that's sticking out from this tree that's falling down. So it's all accidental stuff, and it's hilarious. And, and Tucker always ends up getting hurt. Actually, they kidnap him, or they catch him, and cut off his fingers, 2 of his fingers, and send it back to Dale, who's in the house. And they say, "Now we've got your friend." He's like, what do you think? What do you think that's supposed to mean? So he's taking care of the girl that's hit her head. And at first she's scared of him. And they end up kind of having a fondness for each other. They start playing board games together and stuff. And there's a scene where Dale is out digging a hole in the ground. He's digging it for the new outhouse that they're going to put out there because there's no, running water or anything in this place, I don't guess. And the girl comes out there and she's like, asking him what he's doing, and she decides she wants to help. She grew up on a farm, so she's familiar with, doing this kind of work. So she's out there with a pickaxe, and she's busting up the ground. And again, the other college kids come up and they go, "Man, these guys are sick. They're making her dig her own grave," thinking they're going to bury her. And that's when they do this attack. And Dale swings around with the shovel and accidentally hits the girl in the head again and knocks her out. But at the same time, another guy's coming up with a spear, it's just a stick is all it is, but he's shaped it off to be like a spear, and he's going to try to kill Dale with it. And when he misses, it goes down into the ground where they've dug down, and the guy falls on it and impales himself, and he lands right on top of Dale. Dale's screaming, and again, they're going, "Why are these kids killing themselves?" I mean, I don't know. I have such a blast with this movie, and highly, highly recommend this. If you like a little dark humor, black comedy, Reanimator, Evil Dead 2, this is a great, great fun flick. I'm ashamed of myself of only seeing it just a couple of times in the past, 13 years now. I need to revisit this more often because it is fantastic. And you do get a big twist at the end, right? Because there was evil in this house that they bought. And even the sheriff warns them, there ain't nothing out there but evil. You need to get out of there. And I'm not even going to talk, even the sheriff comes out there with the kids, which is a great scene as well. Again, I don't want to give too much away. I want y'all to check this one out. But turns out that there was a murderous person that lived in that house years ago, and there's newspaper clippings and everything hung on the wall that kind of tell the story of kind of what happened. And it does reflect back on the story that the young guy was telling. And he's a little too ready to go. He wants to defend, themselves. He wants to fight and come down to a kill or be killed type situation. It's just the kind of person he is. And I'll just leave that at that. The rest of it you have to figure out yourself when you watch the movie on Tubi for free. There you go. So don't miss this one, whatever you do. You need to check this one out. It's a doctor movie recommendation, without a doubt. I think it's going to be pretty obvious. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5, right? Not many movies get that from me. But this one is that good, that much fun. It's put together very well. It's so much fun. And that's really what makes this thing work. Again, with Eli Craig doing this. I mean, you got Zombieland. That's, the same vein, right? Because he directed that as well. So that's kind of what you're getting here. And so if you enjoy that kind of stuff, again, don't miss it. Or even if you have seen it, I tell you what, check it out again, because I think you're going to be surprised at just how well this thing holds up. It's fantastic. It should be a bigger cult classic than it is. And I know it's pretty popular because when we go to Texas Frightmare and stuff, you'll see people dressed up as Tucker and Dale dragging half a corpse behind them on the ground. And yeah, you need to spend some time and check this one out. You won't be disappointed. I just don't see how you can. If you like any of the movies that I mentioned before, then you're going to love this movie. And these guys just nail it, right? These are guys that I'm going to say that when I was a kid around, let's say 1979 to about 81, I lived in a town that was on the outskirts of some rough areas, right? And these are the people that lived there. This is what they were like. And it's very true. Everybody thinks that rednecks are, big bully guys. No, they're not. I mean, some of them can be, don't get me wrong. But there is actually some nice people out in the country too. So hold on, folks. I'm having to slow down because I've got a person with okay, they're pushing a buggy down the highway here. And there's cars coming both directions. So got past it. Anyways, folks, that's the problem with doing a show while you drive, right? Things are going to happen. Again, folks, can't recommend it enough. You need to check it out. Go watch it right now. As soon as you get through with this show, go watch it. All right, folks. Till then, we will check you later.